How's it going, guys? Today I bought two IKEA Alex drawer dupes from Amazon, and I wanted to build them for you guys, tell you my build process thoughts, and also let you guys know if it's worth maybe buying these instead of the normal Alex drawers from IKEA if you have an IKEA that's way too far away for you to go to. These drawers from Amazon, I'll pull it up on the screen for you guys now. I think they're about $110 a piece, or maybe about $100, and they're just standard looking drawers. The height of them is a little different. I think these actually are a little shorter than the normal one, so I'm putting these under a regular desk table for some storage options. So if you want to see where these are going to be ending up at, check out this channel for more updates on our film room updates, because that's where these are going to be going for film room organization stuff. Without further ado though, I'm going to go ahead and build these, and I'll kind of walk you guys through the steps that we have to go through and my thoughts on how easy or hard it is to build it. We're initially getting them out of the box. The name of this manufacturer is Adeptus. This is the actual box that it comes in. It's pretty small and flat. They ship inside this bigger box from Amazon, and one of the boxes came with this just, paper wrapping, and this box did not. Overall, this box looks pretty good, but on the right one here, I'm already noticing some, opening right there. So I'm hoping there's not any extra damage on this actual unit here, but I'll open it up and let you guys know and see how many components we're working with, but hopefully it's not too many components to assemble, and the build process is pretty easy. So this is just one of those two drawers that I'm gonna have to be assembling. There's a ton of parts here. I'm assuming these bottom pieces are for the drawer sliders. Yeah, so there's a lot of pieces here, and I will say, off initial impression, it did say it was a solid wood unit, and the quality of these actual pieces does feel really good. So I know compared to your Alex drawers or something like that you'd buy close to at a similar price point, for $100, I feel like the quality of this unit's gonna be really nice. As far as assembly goes, I'm just gonna kind of go straight into it and see how many steps we have, and then, I'll keep you posted along the way, but I'm probably not going to do a step-by-step on this one because it's going to be pretty lengthy, I'm assuming. All right, guys, so here is the instructions manual, and yeah, 6 steps involved for this whole thing. So obviously there's way more assembly that's going to be done on each step, but overall it seems like a pretty easy assembly process despite it there being so many pieces. So step 1 looks like they're going to be making you do the big piece, and they're just going to make you put all the rails on. They have some caster instruction on the bottom here, which I'm probably not going to use the casters, honestly. We'll probably just leave them flat so they're not rolling around everywhere. Attaching the back panel with nails and a hammer, and then just setting up the drawers and then installing all of said drawers. So along the way, if there are any complications with all of this up here, I'll be sure to let you guys know, so you guys know ahead of time if you are planning on buying this, and what to look out for when actually building it. And there's one more thing I wanted to update you guys on. They have this little piece right here. It's called, it's just like a flyer. And then earlier in the video, I also mentioned that they also have a couple other design options, I'm sure. And sure enough, they have some dresser options available. They have a cottage series style. And then as well, where we are at right now, these are the roll cards. Already running into some issues for this one. So this is one of those side pieces that you use to, it's basically the side of the drawer. And yeah, the wood is already split. I could snap it in half easily right now.
Use my money for this.
Hey. So we can obviously set up the drawer unit for the time being without sliding this drawer in. So I'm gonna set up pretty much everything else, and I'm gonna let this sit overnight with some epoxy of some kind, and hope that it gains its rigidity back and it doesn't break over time. But that's kind of the downside of this. Obviously, there's so many pieces, and you saw the way that it showed up in the package. So everything else looks pretty good, but this is the first issue that I'm finding with this whole unit here. So another one. Boom! This is that one that had that damage on the side, and it didn't have much packaging on it. So I'm assuming this is what happened whenever that happened. So yes, this is again same siding for a drawer, and it just split straight in half. So I opened it up like that. I didn't damage it in any way. So same thing with this one. We're gonna hope that we can epoxy it, and then maybe just put these drawers at the bottom of the unit. Okay, so the first step is done. It's actually pretty straightforward. So you'll just take a rubber mallet or hammer, and they have these plastic slider pieces. So instead of having to use those typical drawer sliders, you have to screw them in. You just kind of tap these in, which I do really like. We got our 2 side pieces for our drawers, kind of set aside, epoxying overnight. And once you set up all the drawer stuff kind of off to the side, the assembly of the actual unit is much less daunting, if you will. So essentially, got this whole first piece set up, and then these are the 2 bottom pieces. You just put in some little dowels, and you just put them in on the sides, and then next we're gonna have to screw everything in on these little spots here, and then afterwards we'll put it on the top here, and same deal, kind of use some of those screws to mount everything up nice and tight. So we finally got the frame of the drawer unit built, and all we have left to do is the 6 drawers. And I let these sit over like the past couple days as I took a break on this unit, but yeah, so we have these all epoxied up. I'm gonna be really careful with them still because they are just kind of glued on basically together. So hopefully if you buy this unit, you don't have the same problem that I did, but here's pretty much the next steps that I did. It's pretty straightforward, but it did give me some difficulties. So again, we screwed in at an angle, these 2 screws right here, those 2 back there in the corners, and then there are 3 on each side that you screw in, same kind of like at an angle. I tried using a power tool, and they said this in the instructions, but it was really recommended that you use a screwdriver because just the way that you fill it out and kind of push it in to tighten it, it just makes more sense to do with a screwdriver. So at first I had some really big issues with, getting these lined up and installed correctly, but taking a screwdriver out and like really forcing it in and trying to screw it in was a little better. But it's definitely been a frustrating building experience compared to, like one of your cheaper units because, I mean, they are a little more flexible and stuff. So with this one being wood, you have to make sure it's like perfect, otherwise it won't line up and everything. But overall right now it looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and set up these drawers, but essentially what you have to do is you have a bunch of those like bronze colored screws. You need to like pre-set up this right here where you kind of put the tray in, line these spots up, and then you can kind of screw in your screws. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll see how everything looks whenever all 6 are in the unit. The unit's finally built, and overall it was quite the building experience, I'd say that for sure. Probably one of the most difficult things I've had to build thus far in my whole time of building desks, chairs, all kinds of things. And I mean, overall, compared to, your typical drawer experience, I mean, it's definitely much more difficult than your traditional one because of the fact that they're using like angled inserts and non-traditional ways of, setting up cheaper furniture, which albeit, this setup is gonna be a little more, like future-proof, I feel like, because everything is like actually solid wood. So there's a plus for that. I mean, overall quality, I'd say is it's definitely a nicer thing. But the problem is that with it also being wood, this wood, it will actually sometimes like split. And I had that issue with a lot of the drawers on the inside. Like if your screws have to be dead center, because if they're not, then of course, if they're moving upwards and whatnot, they can end up going upwards and splitting the wood open, which I ran into that about 3 or 4 times with these drawers. Yeah, I don't think you can see anything back there, but they use a lot of screws and there's no pre-drilled holes, so you kind of have to just wing it, and that sometimes can, lead to some issues. So overall though, I mean, now that I know how to do it, I think it'll be much easier to set up the second one. So hopefully I won't have any like weird issues with, broken wood pieces and drawer sliders then, because honestly, like we fixed that bottom drawer, but if you kind of saw that little time lapse of me putting it in, that slider area where it does move in is covered in epoxy now, so it's not going to be as smooth of a process of getting it in and out, and I'm really worried about it holding up in the long run. So that definitely loses some points there. Overall, for around $100, I'd say it's about the quality that I expected. So, I mean, if you really are looking for a solid wood unit, I'd probably recommend it, but again, just buyer beware. Make sure when you take it out of the packaging that everything is A-okay, because again, with ours, we ran into some hiccups, and knowing what I know now, it'll be a better process for the second one. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video for this dresser drawer unit review. If you want to check one of these out, links will be down in the description below, and it will be an affiliate link, and it will help us out. Check out our other 2 YouTube channels, Toasty Bros and Toasty Clips, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.